in Ontario. So thank you very much. Our next speaker, where's Mark?
I am right here.
Here is Mark Friesen. Mark, and you're going to introduce another special guest of yours, correct? Here you go. Thank you.
Try to stay out of the other media. Sorry, folks, we're just getting our live feed on Facebook also ready because we've spent our whole trip taking the rest of our Canadian Patriots with us. So I just want to make sure we're up and ready to go.
I see Dark freezing.
Can you use your phone?
I'm going to make a quick announcement. Anybody lost a key, it's right here. It's a GMC, a key. Come and see me.
Hopefully not a truck.
It might be GMC. All right.
All right, folks. What a day to be Canadian. I want you guys to be loud when I'm speaking. I don't care if you interrupt me with screaming. Do it. That's what we're here for. We're standing here for you folks. We drove here for all you folks. Listen to that. So the first demand that I'm going to make on behalf of all Canadians across Canada is that we identify February 19th Patriots Day in Canada. This, right now, and I don't care if it's on any piece of paper, right now, as of now, February 19th is Patriots Day in Canada. So, my name is Mark Friesen. I'm from Saskatoon. I have a small business in Saskatoon. I actually worked for the government for 25 years in prison. So, I understand how government works, or better phrased, doesn't work. I'm just a prairie boy with a deep love of my country and my fellow Canadians, my culture of freedom, liberty, responsibility, tolerance, equality, hard work, hockey, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
You're in Ottawa country.
But it's interesting because I've never considered myself a patriot. I've never had to identify openly and loudly as a patriot. Of course, I've always been one. I've always felt it like the rest of us. We win a gold medal, I cry because we win the gold. So I'm a patriot and I'm now a loud patriot. It's necessary for us to become patriots. And I was inspired to be loud and proud about being a patriot because of the individual that works in that office that we pay for, that we call Prime Minister. I won't refer to him by name. I don't believe he deserves the respect because he does not respect any of us. So when I refer to him, I will refer to him as Little Potato. Thank you to the Chinese. I'll tell you what really, the day where I woke up angry is the day when I woke up and I heard he say openly that Canada is a post-nation state. What? And that's coming from the leader of our country. Calling my country a post-nation state? We have veterans. We have veterans in our families that gave everything, sacrificed all for our sovereignty, for our nation, for our freedom and our liberty. Nobody, including our Prime Minister, is going to give that away. But we have to understand why he did that. It wasn't just some flippant remark. That was a message to his UN puppet masters. That's what that was. Now, our successive governments, they have, since 1972, sold us out to the UN in differing degrees. They've signed on and been party to the Sustainable Development Agenda. Now that agenda is an extremely large document that has evolved into a behemoth that has created all of the policies that we're standing around looking at in Canada wondering, where is this coming from? For example, the carbon tax. How is a carbon tax applicable to Canadians? When you consider, they like to tell us that our emissions, our contribution globally is 1.6%. But that's before they count all the trees in our country, which is 318 billion, give or take a few million. We are a carbon sink in Canada. This scam they call climate change, this scam they call, and they're going to defeat it with carbon tax, is exactly that, it's a scam. They've convinced, with the help of the media, they have convinced many, many folks that we're going to do something by paying a carbon tax. No, we're not. Well, we are. What they're doing with the UN, backing from the UN, is it's part of the redistribution of wealth program that they've instituted on a global level. They are taking wealth from the West and they are redistributing it throughout the world. They've been doing this for years, for 50 years. And if it was something that was going to work, wouldn't it have worked all right now and we wouldn't have a migrant crisis? The fact of the matter is, it doesn't work because that money never sees the people on the ground. Now, while I talk about migrants, I want to make it very clear. This vest does not represent racism. This vest does not represent violence. This vest represents freedom. This vest represents sovereignty. This vest represents unity. We are a country of immigrants. We built this great country of immigrants. We want more immigration. We need more immigration. But we need to determine these policies in Canada for Canadians. Not some policy developed by an international body that has zero interest in Canada's best interest. In fact, they want us divided, as they've been dividing us for years. They've been dividing us by provinces. They've been dividing us by regions. They've been dividing us by issues. What I saw on this convoy from Saskatoon, where I joined in Regina, what I saw was unbelievable. The expectation I had was nothing in comparison to the reality of what happened. I seen thousands upon thousands of people sitting in my truck through my live feed, crying together while we're in the convoy talking to each other. It's about unity. But I want to say this, because I joined this convoy because it was developed and supported by the energy industry and the people that work hard in Alberta and Saskatchewan. That industry is under attack. There's a reason why it's under attack, and people are losing their livelihoods, they're losing their homes, they're losing their families. It's crushing to the industry, an industry that Saskatchewan and Alberta depend on. Not only do we depend on it, the rest of the country depends on it. We need to fix what the problem is and go for the root of the problem. The root of the problem is the Sustainable Development Agenda and the policies created by UN and global governance. You cut that head of the snake off, we get our country back. All of it. Including pipelines built, including dumping the carbon tax, including getting rid of the migrant pact, and we'll decide. I have one more little bit here I want to say. I know I get carried away and I get rambling, but boy, am I passionate. Boy, is my patriotism burning. It's blowing up in my body, what this convoy has done. We need the rest of Canada to blow up. In love and in unity. So, this message is to the rest of Canada. We love you. But I want to say this loud and clear, folks. You may see a yellow vest rally and you may avoid it. You may laugh when the media makes fun and shames the yellow vest. You may dismiss the yellow vest as not to be, so you're not lumped in with the narrative and the labeling. You may be scared to support the yellow vest for fear of repudiation. But know this. If you love your country, you are a yellow vest. If you cherish your freedom, you are a yellow vest. If you want to regain, maintain, and protect your nation's sovereignty, you are a yellow vest. If you believe our Canadian culture of freedom, liberty, equality, respect, responsibility, and tolerance is real and worth protecting, you are a yellow vest. If you're tired and frustrated at establishment governments abusing you and your hard-earned tax dollars, very good. If you've had enough of our media and our politicians and our special interest groups dividing us, you are a yellow vest. And I know you good folks right here running the cameras, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about your co-workers, your colleagues. I'm talking about your bosses. Now listen, if you support our energy industry, if you support pipelines, if you support farmers and ranchers, you support our industries and our economy, then so the next time you hear someone in the media or some politician degrading a yellow vest, they're degrading you. When you see a news report that claims the yellow vest is racist, they're calling us all racist. There are many reasons for donning a vest and joining the movement. But for those who ignore those reasons and excuses, don a yellow vest, voice their concerns loudly and proudly, stand up to the shaming, the labeling. They're doing it for you and your children and your grandchildren.
And the future!
They're doing it in spite of the hate. They're doing it in spite of the labeling. They're doing it in spite of the shaming. These fellow Canadians are doing it for the love of their country and their love of our freedom. We are patriots. So on behalf of all and every Canadian patriot at this rally and across the beautiful, united and free country I'm standing here to represent, we want you all to commit to dumping the carbon tax. Get the pipelines built. Treat our energy industry along with all hardworking Canadians with respect. Denounce and reject the Migrant Pact in its entirety and give us our sovereignty back. Reject and denounce the Sustainable Development Agenda and back away from all agendas attached to it. And finally, withdraw from the UNSDA. Power of the people is stronger than the people in power. Long live Canada and her citizens. Enjoy your very first Patriots Day. I have one little bit to my speech. I want to invite a good friend of mine. I spent the trip coming up with him. Ivan, come on up here. Ivan happens to be an immigrant. Now I've been called a xenophobe more times than I can count because of this yellow vest. Well, I'm going to let everybody know that calls me that and has in the past two things. Two things. My wife of 10 years is an immigrant. She's not a Canadian citizen because the system doesn't allow her to be.
What does that mean?
It took her 4 years just to get coverage for health care.
He wants to be free, but you know him.
My wife is an immigrant. I love her to death.
Right there.
My good friend Ivan, secondly, is also an immigrant. He's been with us for 12 years. Give a big shout out to Ivan. Ivan is, as of 2 years ago, a Canadian citizen and a patriot. Ivan's sick, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, fellow patriots. So nice to see that you guys show up in such a huge number. I just wanted to say, I came to this country 12 years ago, and after 3 days, I believe, I decided that I'm going to live here and make this my homeland. I decided to stay here. I got married here, got kids here, and there's nothing that I love more than my wife, kids, and this country. Saying that us as a yellow vest are racist, that's just not true. I'm an immigrant myself, and I can be a racist. I can't be a racist with myself. I just want to send a message here. All the people who come to this country, like I did, should respect this country, respect the Canadian values, Canadian way of living, and become a Canadians in whole. I'm not going to say anything else. This is all for me. I'm going to let the other people talk. So this was short and with an impact.
Thank you very much. Let's hear it for these speakers so far. Mark Friesen and this gentleman here. Welcome to Canada. You're an asset to our country. Our next speaker.